presently. I am presently live with somebody who is also a voice and is also significant when it comes to political discussion, analysis, and predictions. And 2023 is fast approaching, so we have to talk about the options that are before Nigerians and Nigerians themselves. So I am live with a prominent voice when it comes to activism, human rights, protection and defense, and also political um, analysis. So I am with Mr. Segun Awosonya, which majority of people know as Mr. SEGALINK. So good evening to you if you are still there. Are you still there, sir?
Yeah, I'm still here. Thank you very much. Good evening.
Okay,
It's always a
great.
pleasure
So
talking.
yeah, so you're welcome. Now let me set the tone. Let me set the tone by asking what's prior to this moment where Nigerians are talking about elections, there were agitations for, oh, everybody wants to self-rule. People from different regions were saying, "Ah, we don't want to have this conversation around unitary system, federalism, and all that. We've been doing that since for so long. We want to self-rule. Biafra, Yoruba Nation, Udua, and the likes. Now that as elections are approaching, fast approaching, it looks like their arguments or the conversation or discussions are already tilting towards the election itself and no longer agitation. What were your expectations ahead of now? And what are your opinions about the now? And what are your predictions about the election itself in 2023 and beyond?
Thank you very much. Let me start by saying or quoting a wonderful leader and friend of mine who once said, just because something is right in front of you does not mean it is within reach. And also, there is always something in the way, because sometimes it is your opponent and sometimes it is yourself. In this Nigerian situation, we are always in our own way. The problem is not about corruption or security, insecurity, lack of money, economic downturn, or all these things per se. The problem Nigeria has is a people problem. And when I say
The people
problem,
themselves.
people themselves, you have to dig deep to the forge that created these people, that molded our society. And the inertia, that is reluctance of our leaders. And when I say leaders, I'm not talking about people who are political leaders or ourselves, because we are all leaders, whether we like it or not. It is only those who have failed to take responsibility, that has failed to take the mantle of leadership, and they prefer to point fingers and blame other people for their own woes. So the issue here is this. We make a lot of assumptions. We believe that the problem of Nigeria or the issues we have now can only be solved by a strong man, as we have done in 2015. You remember we had this discussion back then. In 2015,
Definitely.
we had it in 2019. And it seems like Nigerians probably things are getting worse for us in terms of the capacity and capability to make critical decisions or to think critically. No executive, no politician, no candidate can solve Nigeria's problem. It is the people themselves that can solve the problem by understanding what they want, how they want it, when they want it, and who they want to get those things done or to initiate that process while they monitor and ensure that those things work. Reginald Hargreaves once said, he said, man's greatest flaw, the flaw of man generally, the greatest flaw of man is the illusion of control. We always assume that we have control over something. When you think you can control something, it is a sign that you have actually lost control of that thing. In the country
Really?
today, we think, Yes, when you assume, you can imagine people who are saying, oh, the solution to this country, to this problem, the problem of this country is to self-govern. When you decide to self-govern, the people you are going to govern, are they species from hell or from heaven? Are they going to fall from heaven and, abide by your control? The same resistance you are having in the hands of other people are the resistance that the people will want from you, that they will play out towards you. You have seen that even if you cannot control or engage your whole class, and you start to form groups, and you form that group, within that group, you have resistance, the same resistance in the larger community. So the issue
What do
here
you
is
think
not
is the
about,
source? What do you think is the source of this resistance against the change that is needed?
because
Like,
the basic thing is this: we don't know what we want. We have not defined what we want, and
are
we're not
you
ready to
are
show.
you
Yes, we don't. We don't. We only recognize it when somebody starts doing something that we cannot do ourselves. And we can see, people, it's very quick to judge because thinking is hard. When somebody start putting things together and start looking like what we want to jump on it quickly, hijack it, make it our own, and we destroy it. We have seen it play out now. You saw what they did with NSAS.
I was
You
going to
understand?
take you
This,
back to answers actually.
yes,
Like
you saw what
during the answers,
NSAS, yeah,
during the answers, you
during,
saw a lot
yeah,
of people were so excited. They saw it as their moment. They wanted it. And I remember you as a person who actually started the hashtag, and you put the first foot forward then.
not just
And
the
then
hashtag. That's correcting people
you
on.
also put the first foot
NSAS,
I mean, on this, even foot, the first foot on
yes,
this. I saw you.
we we
I
did the
met you.
hashtag. We did the hashtag. We put the first foot forward. But what did we do differently? We put words. We put action behind our words. We went out of social media to do something on ground. And we were able to pass bills with it. Today, there are laws that have changed the horizon of the Nigerian police forever. Outside that 1943 conundrum that they had before. The police of then is not the police that we have now. And we did all these things before the protest. Remember, everything was achieved before the protest. What spurred the protest? People felt they need to put skin in the game. We need to show them that the youth of the nation have power themselves. They too want to do something. And they made noise with it. Those who want to rob the tweet. Those who want to kill with it. Those who want to do whatever it is that their limited understanding can give them as a meaning of answers, they executed it. Do you understand? So the same thing when I talk about freedom, people don't know what freedom means. So they think freedom means I can do anything I like. But most especially in the direction of depriving other people of their own freedom. Give an example, those who are campaigning right now, who have picked a candidate that they've turned into a messiah. If they find that you are not bowing down, you are not pledging allegiance to their misbehavior or to their antics or to their sentiments, they automatically deem you an enemy. They automatically deem you the enemy of Nigeria. They automatically start blackmailing you and start gaslighting you that, oh, you must have collected money. That's why you're not supporting them. You see, when you're looking for the truth, you don't count heads. It is not found in the midst of a crowd. It is found in the midst of minority, outliers. When they were finding the law of gravity and all, it wasn't in a classroom. It wasn't in an assembly. It wasn't at a symposium. It wasn't at a stadium. It was a guy who was toiling, who was sitting down quietly under a tree with an apple falling on his head and falling up. Do you understand? So that's a critical question.
Yeah.
Have we analyzed our situation enough to collect data and to analyze those data? Have we framed and oriented this idea that we are gotten from the data just collected around our culture, around our education, around our knowledge, enough to say we are putting action behind, to make strategic decisions, enough to put action behind those words? This is what we are supposed to do as citizens towards an election. Are we looking at candidates from the perspective of capacity, conscientiousness, capability, character, clarity, and rest? Other than, oh, he's a governor before. I will tell you this. and prepares anybody within the political climb for governorship or for presidency. Nothing prepares you. I'll give you an example. Sanwo-Olu has been in the system for quite a long time. He has been heads of housing here and there, LSDPC and the rest of them for a while. But nothing he has seen with his experience prepared him for the kind of governorship that he faced. No two governments are the same. And while he was there, all the things that were coming at him, all the challenges that were coming at him, he was never trained or prepared for them. He had to make something that has happened under other people for him to learn from. So what does that tell you? All the people running now, they have never been president before. The closest to presidency is the former VP, Atiku, who will say he has presidential experience, but not as a president, as a VP. So all the presidents that we have been having, they have not been president before. So they learned on the job. And the system also has its own issue. So when we are dealing with too many unknowns, there is bound for us to shackle ourselves as people, which is why we need to open our eyes beyond the sentiments of, oh, he's my townsperson. He hailed from where I come from. He's from my ethnic this thing, or he's from a shared religion with me. It goes deeper than that. If we have actually learned from the deaths of the people around us, if you have actually learned from all the political parties, from all the incident that has happened to us as a people. So this is beyond the semantics of, let them solve ASU problem. Let them give them money so that they can go back to school. Does that solve the problem? Do we even understand the problem? Because ASU issue have been on for quite a while. Insecurity problem. They have built an economy around insecurity in the country. While we are pointing fingers and hating ourselves, another government will come and inherit that particular problem. How are we solving that problem? What questions do we need to ask? In this country, there have been two fundamental security summits in this country. That involves stakeholders from the army, the navy, all the stakeholders in the country, and a recommendation was prepared, a robust one, in two different locations, submitted to the president with pictures to prove. Nothing, not even one of the recommendations have been put in place. We had an NSAS tribunal, which I was also a part. I was a part of that those summit that I'm telling you about. One was for Northern government, the other was for all the tribunal. All these things were done by incredible people, were done by gifts in our nation, were done by stakeholders who know what is at stake. All these recommendations are there. Not one have been implemented. So no politician is coming to do any magic. There's nothing that the military brass don't know. There's nothing you are coming to tell us that we don't know already. All we need is somebody, a leader with political will enough to say, these are the recommendations given over the years. We have put them together and we're implementing them immediately. If that is done,
let me quote in. How would you rate this present administration with respect to all this you're saying? Because this present administration also inherited all of these things. How would you rate how they have been able to address it so far?
You see, that's why I'm saying that it is the Yorubas will say ariwo koni music. It is not about the noise. These were critics who were focused on being an opposition and less of being an alternative. These are people who are too focused on talking about what they don't want, that they forgot what exactly they want and how to bring the change that they actually clamored for. These are people who have never shown responsibility and who have never shown, a sense of, a responsibility enough to say, this is what we are saying when we say fight corruption. This is what we're saying when we say stop impunity. This is what we're saying when we say we want to create jobs immediately. Do you understand? There has not been any solution. Even while they are there, they are still complaining about what has happened in the past. And right now they are about to leave. They are about to leave. They're on their way out. They want to hand over to themselves, and they cannot. The campaign has become so difficult that they can't criticize themselves. They can't indict themselves. They can't admit their woes, And then they're trying to persuade themselves or placate the issue by saying they will continue in the same format that they've been going, which is
Hmm.
insensitive. Even though it's a
Hmm.
political statement, it's insensitive to the plight of Nigerians. So nobody is
Okay, fine.
saying,
Okay, fine. So, are
okay,
you saying, because I have listened to you and it looks like you want to really let people hone up their own space. You want people to determine what they want. You want people to take the space. And then you have been trying to say that it is the people themselves who don't necessarily know what they want. If not, there's no government that can take a ride on them. Um, so when you say people, are you waiting? Are you saying people must be 100% majority, or are you saying at least if you have this, at least this percentage of the people, must everybody agree before they determine the direction they want to go? Because this is democracy, and as far as there are options, different people want to go different ways, especially when we have ethnicity, religion, and the likes of other factors like that. So, do we still blame the people? Do we still say the people don't know what they want?
you
And what
see,
is the percentage
Nigerians,
of people that you think can actually fashion the new way and achieve it for everybody?
we all know the meaning of democracy. Democracy is not for idiots. It is not for illiterates. It's not for sheep. It's actually for leaders who want to enroll other leaders who have presented themselves for public service. So it is not something that somebody will come, because this is what we always expect. Oh, he's coming to speak against a particular government so that it will be towards our sentiment and we can hail him and say, yes, he's speaking our mind. That's not what I'm doing. I'm opening your eyes that you're a leader from where you are. Decide for yourself who represents your aspiration as a citizen of this country, knowing the issues and knowing what you want from your leaders. Pick somebody, follow up with that person. If you want to campaign for the person, it's your prerogative. If you want to decide to say win souls for the person, it's your prerogative. But again,
And I
extend
think
that
people
same
are
freedom.
doing that already.
Yes, you don't have to say this man, because he has followership, he has a national appeal, he must support my candidate by force by fire. If I don't see your candidate as change, I don't see your candidate as representing the aspiration of what I stand for, being somebody in the trenches, working towards a Nigeria that I can hand over to my children, then you should tell you more about your candidates, that there are some things you don't know. So dig deeper. I'm not going to be telling you what to look out for. I can only tell you where to look. So as a where, politicians are who they are. So it is not about, I'm not saying politicians will do everything that, yes, they are not going to do any magic. They will only do what you hold them to account to do. I held them
Hmm.
to account together with Nigerians and collaboration of responsible people to fix the 90-year-old problem of police. And we
Yeah.
were able to get the laws there. And it doesn't end there. We will continue to hold them accountable, monitor the system, monitor the implementation of those laws until we have the police that we can be proud of. You remember it started with
Very
people
well.
calling. Now we have built an institution. We are strengthening the institution itself, has their own internal accountability mechanism that we are monitoring. And you can see the improvement on that. So nobody is seeking to be a god or a demigod or for everybody to become. Why? I want my peace too. So an educated mind creates systems that can stand the test of time. What system are we, the electorate, creating to ensure that criminals, evildoers, people who don't have our interests at heart are not going into political office to go and turn it into their
Hmm.
own retirement home? So this is what we're
What
saying.
what
So nobody
what
will do
what
the work for you.
what
You have
power
to
do
do
you
it for
think the
yourself.
people? But what? Well, I understand you, but what power do you think the people possess, especially in the Nigerian context, to be able to determine that this is the person, this is the kind of politician I want, this is the kind of leader I want. I don't want, because you really can't take away all of these sentiments. Religion will throw itself up, ethnicity will throw itself up, various things will throw itself up, and that way it becomes difficult to blame the people. in
See,
collectivism?
nobody
Because
is
people will
blaming,
definitely have sentiment.
nobody is blaming anybody. We are trying to hold ourselves accountable before we hold somebody else accountable. He who wants to
Okay.
conquer the world must conquer himself. Do you understand? So we are saying dig deeper. Sentiments won't help you. Whether you vote a Muslim, a Christian, we've been doing this all year long. How far has it helped us? Their religion is for themselves, it's not for us. If somebody is worshiping bottle in his house, it doesn't mean that if someone who is worshiping cross in his house or somebody who is worshiping beads in his house is going to do better. It's about their competence and character. You understand? Our religion is to better ourselves. It's not, it doesn't make us anything better, any better human being outside, except our character begins to learn from what religion has made us into. So that shouldn't be a criteria. The religion of anybody shouldn't be a criteria for excellence. You will riot tomorrow if they are employing you based on how you worship. You will not like it. You are qualified for a job and say because you're a Christian, we have enough Christians in this school, we're not hiring you or we're not giving you admission. Wouldn't you want to burn the country for such? So why are you now making that
Hmm.
a criteria for who you're praying? That want to lead you why you are in dire straits, why Nigeria is under fire at the precipice. These are distractions that politicians use to ease the subject. For example, things get easier when you tell someone, which state are you from? You are from Ogun State, and you are from Ogun State. To say, oh, Lumi is from Ogun State. Automatically, certain critical questions will not be asked again because that sentiment is already there to make you feel we are from the same place. There is this feel good effect about it, and this has killed us enough. This is what created the marauders that we have today, the bandits of today. It is ethnic bigotry that got them there, that gave them the power they have today. Ethnic bigotry. Our people, we are the ones that own Nigeria now. It is our people that is ruling now, and we can do anything we like. When you see any candidate with any ethnic slant in that regard, know that you are on the precipice. You are toying with danger.
Hmm.
Because when that time comes, if such a person gets stampeded to power, those people who are playing those ethnic cards, they will become automatic gods. They see themselves as wielding the power of the president. They will not be able to control them. Even, of course, we see that there are some candidates now who cannot even control their supporters. They can't control them. They'll say, you go and be doing your own thing. Leave us. Let us be abusing people and be blackmailing people. So they have not gotten power. If they get power, what do you think they will do? Start killing everyone, their
Hmm.
enemy. This is where identity politics of say starts. You can't build a nation with hate. You can't build a nation with campaign of calumny. Oh, he's not supporting us because of that, we must destroy his name. And you cannot you can't curse who God has blessed. If you continue to do this, you can't tear down. You see, don't destroy other people to raise yourself. You can't pull people down to raise yourself high. Anywhere you put yourself, where God has not put you, you have to protect yourself there. But if God has actually raised you, things will fall in line with you. Which is why we're saying you don't have to form cults or say everybody here come, who do we vote for? No. We all know what Nigeria is lacking. We all know what we need in this country. Go prayerfully before God and say, which of these candidates? Forget about the conspiracy, the media conspiracy that tends to push in our face that there are only 3 candidates out there. There are 18 different political parties with their
Hmm.
candidates, and they are mostly qualified. I have not
Hmm.
seen anybody who is throwing that narrative out there who remembers the fact that the Showore is there. Who remembers that the Prince Adewale is there? Adewale Adebayo is there. Nobody is talking about Kwakwanso. Kwakwanso is not just a politician. He's a philanthropist. He's someone who has done better than any government when it comes to medical care and education. Maybe in the north mostly. When you go and look at the facilities this man has built, he didn't do it because he wants to win any election. And what he's doing now is not because he wants to be president by force, by fire. He's doing it as a force in the system. Eventually he's going to collapse his movement into somebody's campaign at the end of the day. And he will empower that person. That's what he uses it for. And which is what I was telling the youth to do. Use your numbers to say, when it comes to legislatures across the state House of Assembly, National Assembly, these are the youth that we have identified. We don't care about their political party. We are pushing them because they represent us. They are they are qualified, and they will be able to, when the time comes, when we are pushing any policy, they will be at the forefront of it without asking for Ghana must go. Are we doing that? We are not. We think that the power will come from one strong man that we believe is a big man that knows everything, that will control the government as a king. There's no president in the world who has all the sectors of the economy covered under his administration. You can only pick one or two that you will keep under yourself. Even with that, you will still fail. Buhari has Ministry of Petroleum under him. It is failing. We are losing money. 70% of the earnings of this country is going into private pockets, being stolen in daylight before it even get captured in our budget. So what are we talking about? This is the man who wants to fight corruption. It's the same man that the same Nigerian people that were warning then pushed into power because he was a military man.
SEGALINK, if you look at all
So what are we
of
saying? So we're simply saying,
yeah, if you look at all of the challenges that we all know we have, road infrastructure, power, corruption, insecurity, too many. What would you say is is the most important that should take the lead now? That if you want to solve at least one with one administration, if in Nigeria, it has come to the point that we have to look at this one will solve this one, it may not solve the other one. This one will solve this one, although it will not solve the other one.
two things.
Okay.
Two things. One, fix security. I guarantee you, if we have a government that is serious enough with the necessary political will, willing to solve insecurity issues, I personally can guarantee you 1 million jobs per month in this country. With my global connection, I can guarantee you 1 million jobs per month. We can bring in people from all over the place who worked across the globe. We have people, we have connections who are willing to invest in Nigeria. But they can't come here and be kidnapped. They can't come here and allow one stupid policy to wipe them out of business. We've seen what they did to Gokada. We've seen what they did with Max Kada, Max Rider. We've seen what they did with different kind of businesses that our policies destroy. So people want to come here and be safe that government will not change their mind overnight and switch policies on them and destroy their businesses. We can create jobs for Nigerians. Nigerians are talented. They go to different parts of the world and excel. So if we fix security, we will open a direct channel to foreign direct investment. People will come here and build businesses and they will create jobs for the people. When you create jobs, you create activities in the economy. People will be able to save, they'll be able to get salaries, and they'll be able to spend. With that, you see activities, you'll be able to measure the quality of life of Nigerians, and they will be able to have some money to themselves to do what they want to do. So once you have fixed that, economy will start brewing. Because those who are creating jobs in the country will be importing, they'll be paying duties, they'll be paying taxes, they'll be doing a lot of things. Economy will be revived. We will not only depend on oil. And we can begin to now look at
this still boils down to
policies
security.
that have not been working, that have been crippling the economy. That's what I'm saying. I said when you touch security, fix it, you are touching the economy.
It will definitely, yes. I understand you. So you are still talking security, but you said two things.
Yes, I said two things because those two things are interwoven. And once you fix that, government can now begin to start a campaign, a reorientation campaign that will help us change our mindset that we are not each other's enemies. Our environment is mutating us, making us think that we are, for example, as I'm speaking, as some people say, oh, because I've not mentioned their candidates, I'm not supporting so and so and so, I've not said anything that they can understand because I've not touched on sentimental parts. I've not said this is who I'm voting for. I've not said this is who you should go and vote for. So I'm talking to sensible people. I'm talking to leaders. I'm talking to people who can reach out to other people and say, this time around, it demands responsibility from us to do the right thing. I don't even need to know who you are voting. As far as I'm concerned, I am voting based on competence, based on credibility, based on capacity, based on character, based on clarity, and based on, conscientiousness. Somebody who genuinely care about us, who's not coming there to use the place as a retirement home, to use the place as I am supposed to be president by force, by fire. But it's because we're looking at people who are coming there to say, I owe Nigeria something, my leadership. I want to bring people together, create a formidable team that will solve different problems of this country while I monitor and make important decisions. We are looking for a crisis manager. You understand? So, idiots. We have a lot of stupid people in the country. And when you say stupid people, think that stupid people have a village somewhere.
SEGALINK, you're an activist And I
No, no, no.
think you even if
When I say
even if I know you
wait,
are a
wait, when
realist, but even
wait,
if people,
wait,
you understand the kind of people we have in the
no, no,
country,
no. What
and
I'm saying is
sometimes they will abuse
when I
anybody,
no, no, no.
you
When I
know,
use the word, I am describing a reaction or a state of mind. Stupidity is a thing, and there are
based on your
laws
own
of stupidity.
perspective. It's
No, no,
relative
it's not
too.
perspective. Fundamental. It's not relative. Stupidity is you commit yourself to things that will eventually destroy you. Without it, you are doing something that destroys the life of other people that is not even bringing benefits to you. When you are
You
doing
think
things
they think?
that cause no, no, these
Do you
are
think they?
fundamental
Do
things.
you
Talk
think? Do you think?
about
Do you think they knew it would do? It will.
no, no, no.
The
Ignorance is
choices or the
an excuse
decisions they
for
are taking will affect other
some.
people. Some people are
Sir,
taking
if
it
you jump,
because that they feel that is exactly what will actually
sir,
solve the problem.
sir, sir. When
So
somebody
that's
climbs a
why
bridge
I
and
believe it is.
no, let me ask you a question, sir. When somebody climbs a bridge, a very tall bridge, and jumps off it and say, I did not go to school, I don't know the law of gravity exists, will he be prevented from the consequences of that action?
It will not. It will. It will
Exactly.
not.
Somebody says,
It will not be for
I don't
everybody.
understand. No, wait now, let me finish. Somebody says, I don't understand road signs, and he went on Third Milan Bridge and started driving against traffic at full speed, costing the lives of people. They will leave him and let him go because he doesn't know better. Because his not
What are the
knowledge is
road
not for
signs in
everybody.
this case? You know,
No, no, no.
it's not.
You,
It's
no,
not general.
there might not be road signs. No, no. There might not be road signs, but you know
And
that when you're going to Third Milan Bridge, you're either you're going on this side and you're coming on that side, and you face the opposite direction and say anybody can do whatever they like. This is my freedom. So you
well,
cannot
I'm
excuse
just.
it. You are a
I'm not
society,
blaming you.
not
Blaming you. All I'm just
no,
saying
no, no.
is there are some words that may not necessarily describe people generally. It may describe people in the
I am not.
majority, in the
I,
minority, in
ah,
certain
I am trying to.
categories, but it
I
may
am
not.
trying to
It
learn.
may. I just want us to use words that will describe people generally, so that we
No,
don't.
no, no, no.
They don't count it as
So,
insult. You know.
sir, if you listen to me very well, I am speaking from the enlightened position. I am not speaking to you like
And that's
this
why.
is not a beer.
That's what I'm saying.
That's why
Not all
I was
people who are listening to us.
I was building something. If you have listened to me, you will get what I was saying. I said when
Okay.
people do things, when you do things that doesn't benefit you while costing others, their life, their resources, their opportunities, and so on, it is an act of stupidity because you are not benefiting from it and you are making people lose their opportunity based on the decisions that you are making. When you are doing things that benefit you at the cost of another, you are simply a bandit. Banditry can be understood because when you look at the sentiment behind banditry, you know that this guy is probably hungry or he needs money or he needs to be recognized, he needs acknowledgement and all. You can easily identify and predict a bandit. They want to kidnap and ask for money. But how do you predict somebody who is doing something
And even
continuously,
kill those ones who don't
perpetually,
have money.
consistently to destroy the opportunities of other people, to destroy the development of their society, to destroy the development and unity of their country when they are gaining nothing in return? How do you explain that? That is the law of stupidity. Go and Google it. So it's not about calling somebody stupid. I'm not saying everybody is like that, but I'm just saying understand the kind of
Exactly. That's
audience that you're
exactly
dealing
what
with.
I want.
And I'm not here.
That's yeah.
And I have never said everybody is like that. I'm just giving you. I'm trying
Exactly.
to. I'm somewhere. Give me, if you are patient enough to hear me out,
No,
you will see
I
where
just
I'm
want
going.
us to. I just want us to avoid some words. I mean, you
It's
may
no, we can't
substitute it
avoid
if you don't.
anything.
If you don't
No,
mind, substitute them.
avoiding issues like this is why we are where we are today. I will not
Okay,
sugarcoat anything. If you are going to call me and you expect me to sugarcoat, I won't come to your program again.
it's fine.
I'm speaking not
I'm
only.
not saying you should sugarcoat. I'm
No, no.
not saying sugarcoat.
I in the context of what I'm saying to you that I am not calling anybody in particular stupid. I'm saying there are different categories of people, and we always assume
That's exactly
that
what I'm
people who are
saying.
yes. I'm clarifying for you, sir. And
Okay,
these
sir.
people that I'm talking about, this category, they are all over the place. They are amongst the rich, they are amongst our leaders, they are amongst the followers, they are amongst the very educated, they are amongst the illiterates, they are amongst the hawkers, they are all over the place. It was Einstein that
Okay.
said he used to think hydrogen was the most common substance in the world until he realized what stupidity is. So you can't say he's insulting people. He's just telling you how common this thing is. And then we always want Basil begins to make a human being who is also a politician, who has been around in all the issues that we're having, the things that we have all condemned, and who is saying automatically this one is a saint. And that if you don't bow down to this thing, if you don't pledge your allegiance, you are against the country. How do you explain that? And you know that these people are not people you can reason with. When you look at the way they are campaigning, there's no logic there. So there's no way forward. So I can only limit my explanation and engagement to people who can make critical decisions, who are willing to contribute to nation building. So I have to delineate and tell you, I am not addressing any common man that is random, that is willing to be dissuaded, or that is willing to be used, as meaning to be brainwashed. I am talking to people who are willing, for the sake of their children, for the sake of the legacy they hope to leave behind for coming generations, who are willing to take the bull by the horn. These are the people I'm addressing. I am not delusional to think I am for everybody. I am not for everybody. I am for leaders. People who can take responsibility for their actions. Not people who commit a crime and want to push it onto somebody else. Who will never accept their mistake for anything that they've done. Because we are going into another critical time in this country now, where another disaster is about to happen. And when it happens, they will blame it on government. Always pointing fingers. No single decision to say, we didn't know better. If we had, we wouldn't have done this. Or we are learning from what happened in 2015. Let us come now and not do this. But you're seeing a group of people who are saying, because it was done in 2015, we will repeat it now. And they expect a better result. I have never seen. Suffering.
Let me take you to the NSAS uprising. It was a moment where you would think a lot of people were saying, oh, from this point on, we have realized that it is our leaders that do not have political will to do what the people wish for or actually are demanding. So at that point on, people were saying, oh, 2023 is going to be highly significant. We are going to use that opportunity to make a statement and all that. Do you think the NSAS uprising is having any impact in the 2023 political climate?
Don't say NSAS uprising, just say the NSAS protest. There is your NSAS advocacy, which you can see the results, which has a lot of positive results based on consistency. That has nothing to do with stealing Bitcoin money. It has nothing to do with sleeping with the prostitute on the highway. It has nothing to do with disobeying.
Those were the hijack effect of it. Yeah. Those were the hijack effect of it.
The advocacy itself, it is positive. It shows common ground. It shows unity. For the first time, Nigerians came together to agree on one subject. And they did that without anybody worrying about who is in charge, because there was leadership. And when people want to do things for themselves to say we have no leaders, we also saw the result of that. So if we don't learn from that, there's a problem. And we're already seeing it materialize now. Even with the campaigns that we are having, people are saying they have no leader, nobody should be heard, they're fighting each other, they're abusing each other within the same whatever, and they hope to bring about a responsible governance from that chaos. It doesn't happen like that. So right now, what I believe the youth should do, I have said it before, you should strategize. I've said it before, gather your data. What I'm saying is
this, just for us to be focused on the question itself. NSAS, you said I shouldn't use the word uprising. Okay, I take it for you. And then you said we should say the advocacy itself. If the advocacy achieved, what is the
there's
impact?
No if. I've just told,
that advocacy. If the advocacy
through.
is having any impact in 2023 election, I want to link it.
Yes, it will have that advocacy, because, like I said on TV,
if it will have, okay, go ahead.
Like I said on TV, I said I will not be in town. I wasn't called for lawbreakers. I wasn't called for curfew breakers. I wasn't called for people who are unruly. I was called for leaders, like I've told you before. And there are hundreds of thousands of leaders who are willing to say, how do we strategize to be able to formidably impact the 2023 election? For these people, I am ready to sacrifice, to work, and to engage towards ensuring that their interest, their aspiration is reflected in the coming election. And I don't even need to tell them who to vote for. I don't even care who they are going to vote for. All we are working towards is if we're looking at the legislators that we're bringing out, if we can form a village, a block, or a block, we can create a block vote of maybe 10,000 votes, 20,000 votes, or thereabout, and say these 20,000 people who have registered under this umbrella within our strategic team, this is the person that we're pushing towards the house or the various constituencies who are representing who across different parties. It doesn't have to be only Labour Party or SDP or PDP or whatever. We will highlight them. Who is this guy? What does, and we will sell those people. You see, the power of the legislature is what will bring about the difference in 2023, not the power of who the head is. The head can't do everything. We need lawmakers who can hold government to account, who can remove people who are not representative of us, not those people who will be sharing money and forget about their representative powers towards the people. So this is what we're looking at. Anybody can be president if you have the right legislature and quality of people.
So do you think the NSAS advocacy is touching down on this?
Yes, of course it
as
is.
far as 2023 is concerned.
I am still here.
Okay,
I'm still consistent, and a lot of people are still there, and they are listening. Do you understand? A lot of people are listening. Look at my followers. It's growing on a daily basis. I have people who are there ready to say, this is what I'm bringing to the table. That is what I'm bringing to the table. This is what I'm doing, contributing. And we'll put everything together and harmonize our forces. We don't have to make noise. We didn't make noise to achieve what we achieved in NSAS. A lot were achieved before the protest. So everything doesn't have to be protest-like. We can quietly and strategically achieve a lot of things without making noise. And I don't need to tell you who to vote for, other than for us to agree and say, these are the people that we have highlighted. This is their scorecard. This is what they have achieved. This is what they are running for. And this is why we are putting them there. And these are the things we hold them to account to when the time comes. We can't blindly go and put somebody there at the presidency when all the things they will need to function are not there, are left to chance. And you expect him to be a miracle worker. He will fail. No doubt. He will fail. Because the presidency is not a king. He doesn't make decisions on his own. He will need the House of Reps to make and the Senate to make certain decisions, to approve certain decisions. If you're not careful of the kind of people you put there, you're going to have a rubber stamp assembly and it will be against you. Back to square one. Even worse than where you're coming from. We must not continue to go from fire to fire, from frying pan to fire all the time. We have put too much emphasis. And that's the problem.
You're right about that. Yeah. So what's your assessment of the respective parties that have put, their candidates for their platform forward for 2023 to rescue the situation? What is your assessment of them? And what do you think, which of them do you think people should be at least listening to, considering, or contemplating in order to achieve the desired change we are looking towards, especially in the majority?
The issue is this. Don't follow any bandwagon during election. Personalize the decision. Me, as a father, as the head of my home, with children here, should anything happen to me, what kind of country do I want my children to work in? Personalize it. Don't say because people are making noise. This is where everybody is. Because we have a disease in this country. We always want to vote or queue behind something that is popular. Whether for our own fringe benefit of, I'm part of people doing something popular. It makes us feel good that we're fashionable. Or it makes us feel, yes, I'm part of the majority. Or it makes us feel maybe this opportunity to build followers. We are the ones doing this. Feel good effect doesn't solve any problem for anybody. We need to personalize this and say, what exactly is this bringing to the table, for our children? How sustainable is the change? That the next 4 years is very critical to all of us. So if you are looking at the political parties, I'm not going to tell you focus on one particular political party. The youth themselves don't trust themselves. Pick one youth out of your whole group. Now you see the level of distrust. And an alliance is as strong as the level of the strength of the trust that hold them together. We don't trust ourselves. How do we hope them for any other person to trust us? You understand? So what we need to do is to listen to every one of them. Don't say listen only to this one because they are loudest or because people are shouting. Don't do that. In fact, the quietest one is the one you should listen to the most. Look at their manifesto. Nobody that is serious will run for an office as complicated and as complex as the presidency of a country like Nigeria and not having a manifesto. That's the left. That's number one disqualification right there. I have seen Showere's manifesto. I have seen SDP's candidate, Prince Adewale Adebayo's manifesto. I have seen Atiku's manifesto. I've seen what he plans to do. I have seen his pact to the people. He has published the 5 agenda that he's looking at. For the articles, why are we picking youth people again? That's the question they need to answer. For the younger ones, like the youthful one, the youngest one that I know is Prince Adebayo, who is in his 50s, like 51. He's even younger than Obi. He's 51. He's a lawyer. He's somebody. He's a man of repute. He's someone who has gone global. His business is thriving everywhere. He owns a law firm, a huge law firm, and everything. He's doing well, and he's very interested. And if you hear what he says, you know that this is a man of substance. I've seen Showere's manifesto. I've read it back and forth. I have followed him on campaign. In fact, 2019, I was on his camp. I followed him. I supported him. I followed him to all the campaigns, to all the debates, because I believe in what he wrote and I believe in what he stands for. But Nigerians, because we like backing a winning horse, people we have seen be popular enough to want to election with structure, with that and that and that, regardless of our definition of structure. We will not back the likes of Showere. We will not back the likes of Adebayo, who is speaking to issues. We will want sentiment. Somebody who's telling you how they get their advice from a madman. Somebody who is fighting themselves in fighting. Somebody who is talking about cassava and agbado and everything, even though we don't even understand the context of these speeches. These people are reaching their base. The Labour Party has their audience, even though within their own principle as Labour Party, together with somebody who is coming from a party that is more or less capitalistic in nature, there is a misconception between the two ideals. Nobody's talking about that
conflict. Yeah.
And a party like APC, they're speaking to issues. You know, it's a socialist party itself. They will talk about how they will engage their bases, the grassroots people. Look, if you go out there around 12 o'clock to say you want to buy corn, that, madam, keep corn for me, I'm coming back. If you come back around 4 or 5 o'clock, you probably will not see one left. We consume, and in Nigeria, we don't eat yesterday's corn. We eat ibeini, meaning we are a consumer nation and we depend on most of these things that people take for granted. People claim they are laughing at these things and they don't understand that there are people who, before now, a bag of corn sells for 1,000 naira. Today, it sells for 10,000 naira. You will see an old woman wearing one single wrapper, bringing 6 bags of corn to the roadside. And before the end of the day, you will sell everything. 60,000 capital investment, and you will make over 100,000 naira, because a cup of corn costs 500 naira in VI. And it doesn't cost any less than 100 naira anywhere. So calculate that. And there are so many in a single bag. He will make a lot of profit from that. You see that woman as poor, but we will see people who understand how the economy works will see that that woman is a businesswoman. When somebody is not talking about corn, cassava, whatever, is connecting to them, telling them, I am building your economy for you. I am creating jobs for you. I am putting money in your pocket. I am prioritizing things that is putting money in your pocket, and I want to keep you in business. And these are the people in the grassroots. They will vote. They are not like us holding our phone looking for charger. So laugh at him at your own peril. He is doing his own work. He knows why he's keeping it simple. He knows why he's feigning to be weak. Buhari was looking weak during the campaign in 2015. He was quiet. He wasn't saying anything. Some people were even alleging that he was fainting all over the place. Did you see how he fell off his business? Can anybody control his government now? He became a leader. He came back to his way. He took all his word, blocked everybody else away from his government. And that's the style. So don't take anybody for granted and don't abuse anybody. Don't say you're old or young or whatever. It's not the what a lot of things don't.
Yardstick.
They are not as they are. These are not the yardstick. The yardstick is the what is in between his ears. What are his policies? What are his ideals, and how does it impact us? Those are what is important. Nobody goes to the presidency to carry weight.
But you talked about leaders, that you actually appeal to leaders. Your own role is to make sure that you impact leaders in the society.
Yeah.
That you are not necessarily talking to everybody. You're talking to people who are willing to take stance, take responsibility, and take exactly. And so now, as a leader, you don't just want to take decision for yourself. you want to influence others to understand your perspective and follow you to take the same decisions so that we can all influence, impact the society together. Because as that's how we want to unbundle it. I say, no, look at your local leader, look at your state governor, we are still going to be under the same nation, under the same country. Okay. So if you would be willing to influence others to say, why not let's look at this. You have studied the parties, the candidates, their ideals, their what they are bringing to the table. If you would recommend to say, come, leaders, why not let's look this way so that we can influence everybody, and let us majorly focus, in majority focus here, so that we can all get it right, at least for once.
It doesn't
You
work
don't
that
want to
way.
do that.
It doesn't work that way. Let me
You don't
explain
want you
something.
don't want to influence people to
I am
look
not
in a
an influencer.
way.
I am an impactful person. I impact society. And by impacting, I
Yes,
will let
leaders.
you know. No, I will
That's
let you know
leadership.
what it are.
You
The
impact
decision
people. Leadership.
remains, the decision is yours. Leadership is responsibility. Take responsibility for your own decision and force the consequences. Don't say Sega asks us to do it tomorrow. You understand? Nobody is going to tell you, let us look at it so that we can be in the majority. No. If I even want to test my own theory to see whether I am thinking right by the number of people who will do the right thing based on what they ought to know that I make sure they
What
know.
is the right
Do you
thing?
understand?
What is the right thing?
The right thing is to
By
vote
your
based
own
on competence.
assessment. To vote
Based on
based on
competence.
competence. Do you know that
Based on
competence can be
consciousness.
relative?
Based on
I may be seeing competence on the
blame
basis of.
ourselves. Let me tell
That's
you something.
exactly what I'm saying. So we'll continue to.
1 + 1 is what,
Can
sir?
we recommend? Can we recommend based on competence to say, based on competence, I think this person is doing this, and I
If I'm
think
to draw,
you can
if I'm
you
to
can
draw,
we can recommend as leaders.
sir, if I'm to draw a matrix, everybody that is running for office, across the 18 political parties are competent. They are all competent. They have all done one thing or the other before now, whether in their businesses, whether those ones who are lucky to be in government or so. Being a governor doesn't make you right or ripe for presidency, because there's nothing you learn as a governor that prepares you for the presidency. Just like I was telling you, if you are in the ministry, it doesn't prepare you for being a governor. What prepares you for leadership at the gubernatorial level may disqualify you for the presidency. I've seen a lot of people who are boasting with unethical behavior as an achievement in governance. You can't be a president of the country, you go and put Nigeria's money inside your own personal business, or you put it inside your bank where you're chairman. That's conflict of interest. You should go to jail for that. That's corruption. Nobody can boast for that, except your followers don't have a brain. They can't clap, they can't applaud that. That's criminality. That's criminal. So there are certain things that will be sweet in your local politics that will not be for national politics. You understand? So those are the issues. So there's nothing like recommending where majority will know. We will look at the issues ourselves and say, for me, competence-wise, I believe this person is more competent than another because of this criteria and that criteria. But thankfully, nobody running today has been president before. So nobody has an edge over any other person other than the person who has been once vice president before. And being vice president is not the same as being president. There are some challenges.
And even being vice president, when the president himself said he wish he never had you as a vice president because you ruined a lot of things.
What are you talking about?
I'm just saying.
The person who is speaking, is he clean? What is he accusing him of that he has not done? Do you understand?
Nobody.
So don't look at the words of politicians. No, I'm just telling you, don't look at the words of anybody about anybody to judge anybody that you don't know yourself. Nobody will tell you, you have met Sega before. You know what Sega has done. You know who I am. Somebody cannot tell you, I think Sega did this, and then you hold it as true. That's confirmation bias. That's not the way you do when it comes to leadership. You can do that when you are dealing with people on a platonic level. But when you're dealing with leadership, you must look for facts. There are no alternative facts. Facts are facts. 1 + 1 is 2. There's no other way around it, except you're looking at operations, which you are doing furthermans and everything, which is a different equation entirely. Which is why I'm saying when a man is talking about cassava, ewa, agbado, if you have a brain, you are looking at somebody who is saying, I am going to empower and rejig the economy to the point where food security will be my priority. Meaning the poor who are languishing today, looking for what to eat and die, we have business, we have an economy, we can create job in that. And then we can begin to look at those resources that we have that we are not prioritizing and
Which
begin to create
candidate do you
stuff.
think is doing that? Which candidate do you think is saying exactly that?
Bola Tinubu is doing
Which is your own important?
Is doing that. Ashwaji Bola
Who?
Tinubu is doing that.
Okay,
I said
great.
Ashwaji Bola Tinubu.
So that means
also
you
we
would
have
recommend Ashwaji Tinubu if
we have
if
another candidate who
that
is
were
saying,
to be okay.
I'm looking at every, you see, to
I
everyone.
understand you.
If
I'm saying for that
you will
factor
find,
I'm saying for that first factor you listed, Ashwaji Tinubu would. Okay, go
for
ahead,
that factor,
please.
he has
I want you
to do.
to
I'm
yes.
telling you the issues that these people have talked about. Sentiment outside.
Okay.
Why we are laughing? Why is making it
Yeah.
funny? People who
Yeah.
have a brain can think into it.
Yes.
We can begin to create
Yes.
ethanol. We can create a lot of things from these resources, natural
Agbado.
resources.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
You understand? A lot of our, and if you look at our economy, when we say people eat 2 square meals a day or something or less, how many of them are eating protein? That's why the guy is talking about ewa. Protein has been missing. You see children growing up with kwashiorkor and everywhere. That's another thing. So he's speaking to health, hygiene, to nutrition. So you can expand this election. See, campaign have not started, and I'm sure each campaigners and all have their own strategies out there. But we are too transfixed and focused on what we can use to damage somebody instead of looking at.
Let's not even look about. That's not the intent here. The
No, I'm
intent is
not
to guide people. Let us guide people. So you've talked about food, and you said when it comes to food and its benefits to health, to economy, and all that, you would say, Ashwaji has said something. Let's look at other factors too.
Other factors, somebody is speaking to insecurity. That I will fix the security problem in Nigeria so that we can create jobs. He has highlighted 5 agendas. That's Atiku. His Excellency Atiku. He's speaking to 5 agendas, saying you want to fix insecurity, you want to fix the economy, you want to create jobs within the economy. That is human capital development generally. He's speaking also to issues of unifying Nigeria. He's also speaking about devolution of powers to the states, which is his own restructuring, his own view and perspective about restructuring. It's not about disenfranchising certain people who have been benefiting from certain things that have come, I'm going to restructure everything, scatter everything for you. And then those ones who will say, let me fight back so that I can retain what I'm benefiting. That's not what he's saying. He's saying there are certain things on the exclusive list that you need to go to the concurrent list. There are certain things, for example, a road, Third Mainland Bridge, for example. If the Third Mainland Bridge is bad and it's causing a whole lot of traffic, which state will suffer economically? It is Lagos State. Third Mainland Bridge belongs to federal government, but it is the responsibility of Lagos State to fix that road so that his own people will be happy. People don't even know who to blame for what. They are in Lagos as far as they are concerned. So if governments give more power to Lagos State and give more money to Lagos State can do far more things than is expected, instead of waiting for somebody in the federal government to come and fix a road in Nigeria, in Lagos State. And it goes even to security. It goes to a lot of other things. Atiku has spoken to all these issues. So based on that issue, I think you understand more on how to touch more light.
I'd like you to go to other candidates and talk also about their own relative strengths as well.
That's what I'm saying. I've talked about APCs
great.
now.
I just want you to progress. Yes.
We have this party AAC. AAC is Showere's political party. Showere has looked at the aspect of economy, our aspect of our economy that we have not even been looking at. He has looked at ways in which you can not even bring in foreigners into our country, developing work, jobs under our feet, opportunities under our feet, looking at the resources we have, looking at how we can manage things, reduce the size of government, and so many other things. If you read Showere's manifesto, it's out there. You can download it. If you can take out time and look at how he has worked his way through fixing the economy, creating jobs for the people, liberalizing a lot of things so that we will not have teachers going on strike, creating, canceling NYSC and everything, they're making it productive, as in engaging the youth of the
Making
country
it
and
optional.
ensuring
I think I read it.
they are the true resources of this nation. He has said a lot, and there are also, amongst all these positives, there are lots of connecting points amidst all the things that all these candidates have just addressed, but they express them differently, and they're going to implement them differently depending on which one
Another candidate.
rocks. We all have Barrister Adebayo. Adebayo
Yeah.
is somebody who is an excellent speaker, who understands the purpose of government. He's one who is speaking to a twin issue. The issue is farewell to poverty and insecurity. And he has posited
Sounds like
that,
sorry to cut in. Sounds like a Ghanaian Finance program in NCP. Abolition of poverty. Yeah.
exactly. And
So
again,
please
he's
continue.
also the political party of Chief MKO Abiola, and it was more about eradicating poverty.
Yeah.
But this time around, they added insecurity. Again, if you fix poverty, you have actually fixed insecurity.
Absolutely.
Because most of the
I agree.
poverty actually leads to insecurity.
Yes.
Exactly. So he has connected those things like that, and he's speaking to issues. He has made us realize, long before Sylvia, the minister, Honorable Minister Sylvia, raised an alarm about the theft in the oil industry. He has been saying that 70% of our oil resources have been stolen from source. It wasn't even captured on the paper, on our budget. It has been stolen before it was captured. So when they tell you Nigeria is broke, don't believe them. Nigeria cannot be, we can't even afford to be broke. We can't be broke as blessed as we are. It is the mismanagement and maladministration that is making us see ourselves as poor or as broke, because the people are only fending for themselves, and they are, the little that we are getting, they are even mismanaging it. So it speaks also to insecurity.
Next candidate.
So if you read his manifesto and you look at how he has also prioritized the chapter 2 of the Constitution of Nigeria, which speaks to certain things that we have deemed as a norm in governance that is actually illegal. A government is responsible for the people and must be accountable to the people. If you look at the second chapter of the Constitution of this country, it addresses certain things, expectations from our leaders, which have not been taken into consideration. He has taken it as part of the things that he will be very, very particular about, to be accountable and transparent to the people. There is also Kwakwanso, like I said. Kwakwanso's administration, as an offshoot of the kind of philanthropy that he runs, is someone who wants to see a healthy society, and a society that is working not just anyhow, working based on information. And this is someone who, if you look at the way he has channeled his philanthropy, it is thought that he is empowering people in the health sector, he's empowering people educationally, and is building a society of egalitarians who can think through their problems. They are not waiting for government to come and solve their problem or give them trader money. They are waiting for enabling environment to apply themselves. You can imagine if you have a president like that, who goes to the East, open up the ports,
That's conquest.
create an environment where the East will become our China. Who will be looking for self-determination in the East when they are making all the money, when they are buying, when they are doing Yam Festival on a weekly basis, when they are enjoying themselves and traveling abroad and annexing other nations to Nigeria because of the productivity. So this is a man who is also versatile.
But you haven't mentioned the man I've been waiting for ever since.
You can wait forever.
It'll be. Can you mention his strength too? I want to hear you talk about the strength of Peter Obi in this campaign, in this 2023 elections.
The issue is this: Peter Obi is a lovable and likable person. He's a likable person because he is a conversationalist. He knows how to talk to people. He knows how to engage people, no matter your level of education and all. He knows how to simplify things based on the way he sees it. He might not be somebody who is, he might not be a statist. Statist meaning he's not a statistician. He uses
but he gives figures a lot.
Let me finish now.
Okay.
Before they crucify. He uses the figures as an illustration for what he's saying.
Okay.
And because people are seeking to misconstrue him anyways, they will go and check those figures and say the figure is 31% and not 33%. Because of that, everything you said is wrong. It is politics. Nobody make you sound. And again, I keep saying, the idea behind leadership is not somebody who knows everything. He doesn't need to even know the figures right. All he knows is the economy needs to work. And if I have to hire the best of hands to get that to happen, I will do that. And that's what you need from a leader anyway. Doesn't have to be, he's not contesting to be the National Bureau of Statistics leader. He's running for the president of Nigeria. Do you understand? So it's not irrelevant. That's why
network.
I'm saying the core of the conversation is we're treating politics as a reality TV show. And unlike politics, there are real life consequences. If you make a mistake, you are down with that mistake for the next 4 years. Some people will not survive it. So Obi as a person is someone who has also contributed to the energy that enabled a lot of youths to be interested in registering to vote in this election. And because of his decision to run in this election, it has also quelled the agitation of self-determination of the people in Southeast. So they now find an ownership in this electioneering process that we must participate, we must vote, and this is our guy. There's nothing wrong with that. The only quarrel that they have with some of us,
him.
Yes, the only problem they have with some of us is the fact that they are using their freedom to infringe on the other people's freedom. The fact that you want so does not mean that any other person who doesn't want him is the enemy of Nigeria. Does not mean the person has been paid. Does not mean the person does not want Nigeria to change. That is not the narrative. We must not get overly extreme about it. We must not become ideologues. We must not become ethnic bigots or religious bigots over a political election. The same way I support Arsenal, you may support another party. It doesn't change the fact that I like you, you like me, we talk to each other all the time, we want the good for each other. We may disagree on our football club and the chances they have. Well, it shouldn't make me hate you. So if we can respect ourselves and have our boundaries with football, why shouldn't we do it with politics? That is my question. So I don't hate anybody, for example. I love all the candidates because they are making a sacrifice to surrender themselves for leadership in our society. And it is worth commending because the moment you come out there, and that's what most people don't understand, you become a public property. They will scrutinize you. They will bring up
it's not
issues.
easy,
They will ask
man.
you, insult you. So nobody should defend anybody and make them gods. They shouldn't talk about them. If you don't want to be talked about, don't come to politics.
Exactly.
You want to run for yes. So don't say they are insulting me. You are out there. People will want to banter you. They want to do a lot of things. So don't protect any candidates from being scrutinized by people who want to vote for them, who want a better country. Like I said, I appreciate his running. I hope that he can be firmer, and I use my own example. I don't have an office. I'm not looking for political office and everything. I was pushing a campaign that I've been pushing for years. And I don't want it to cost the life of anybody. It's not benefiting me personally, it's benefiting all of us in the long run. And when people took it in the wrong direction, I wasn't afraid to come out to say, no, this is not what we stand for. I will not stand for this. Without being afraid of losing face. Because I wasn't doing it for popularity. I don't care who follows, who don't follow, who likes, who don't like. I know what I was gunning for, and I know why we are doing what we're doing. It's not about the popularity. It's about the impact. And the impact has recorded itself long before the protest. And the protest also give credence to the fact that it was a widely accepted advocacy that people want to be a part of, which is a plus and credit to us. So when you have a campaign that is accepted by the youth of the nation, you need to guide them. It is now your responsibility to guide them on that campaign. If not, if they commit a crime in your name, you will go down for it. And you can't say, I don't want to lose followership. I will not address this issue. If it costs other people's lives, you will be held accountable. Nobody will go scot-free. Buhari till tomorrow, once he hand over power, he will be held accountable for people whose lives were cut short because of his statements. Nobody will go free from that. Nobody will forget that immunity is not forever. Trump is facing inquiry today as the former president of America. And that's the president. We live in the same global society. So nobody is walking free from any crime committed by them based on their negligence. Leadership is responsibility. So this is my point. It's not that I don't like somebody, I don't like somebody. It is not my position to say, go and vote so person. That would be bad. Nigerians have the opportunity to make a decision for themselves on who governs them. If that decision now becomes a general thing by our critical thinking, then so be it. But not something that we have to force to be a general thing. It is not my duty
What do you
to
say?
because I want it to be a decision of the populace, we must begin to force people to think a certain way. No. Think the way you think.
Okay.
Think
So
based on what works.
so,
Let
so
us see
that means
where
you do not necessarily want to recommend, say, why not let's go this way.
I
You don't
can't
want to
do that.
recommend.
No, I can't. I can only do what I'm doing now. Tell you the pros of everybody. Tell you the cons of everybody, and make your decision. That's what responsible leaders
Okay.
do. If
Okay.
I am a pastor,
Okay.
I am collecting your tithe, which I am definitely not giving to Jesus Christ in the evening. I'm not depositing it to God in the afternoon. And I'm collecting your offering. I'm collecting your first fruit. And then the only decision that you can make for yourself and your family, picking a leader, I'm robbing you of that again and telling you to go and vote based on what I've said because one God has told me. That's a sin, a cardinal sin. What is equity then? What is equality then? Give the people a chance to make their own decision and own their decision and be responsible for the consequences of that decision. So if you all make our decision in our private confines of our hearts, and it now became a popular decision based on our individual decision, for goodness sake, that's it. That's what they call the voice of the people. Voice of the people is not you holding a gongo and saying you must vote for so person. If not, we will attack you, we will blackmail you, we will claim that you have taken money, we will forge documents against your name. That's not how it's done. Any leader that is brought to power by that style will never rule, will never lead
Even well
equitably.
at all.
That government will never function. It will fail from day one. Mark my words.
What
We have seen it
what do
happen.
you say? What do you say to the people of the regions in the country? Because Nigeria has often been dubbed as a country of several nations. So would you say you can you rule out the possibility that people want to vote along their regional lines or ethnic sentiments? And what do you say to people
Okay.
who feel that, see, lasting solution to all of these problems is let everybody self rule so that we won't have all these problems, because like you have rightly also said in the course of your discussion, you said that a lot of people are following a particular candidate because it came from the ethnic region that they are also from, and they feel it is their turn, that they also must have a sense of rulership in the country. So what do you say to the people who feel, see, last let's just divide this country and let everybody self-rule?
Let me start by saying agency lies in the space between stimulus and response. If I beat you, or if I stab you, if I use something, a hot rod on your body, you will respond. And your response will be as a result of the impact of that stimulus on your body. If it is painful, you will scream. If it is ticklish, you will laugh. Most of the things we are seeing is as a result of the failure of leadership in Nigeria, which is making everybody go back to their roots to say, maybe if somebody from my tribe gets into place, I will be treated better because we are from the same place. That is the assumption. And it is also a sign of emotional intelligence to recognize that we have the power to change our assumption. A Yoruba man has been president before. Does it make Yoruba nation better? A man, an Abeokuta man, has been president of this nation. Ota Road is still as bad as it was since he was president till date.
You are talking to me.
So what exactly has he made us? When we're talking about police, Yoruba policemen who speaks Yoruba are the ones kidnapping Yoruba boys on the streets and extorting them. They speak your language. So what are you talking about? That if they are from your tribe, they will not hurt you? That's a fallacy. You don't have to try and see the error. There's no try and error. That's why we went to school. If not, we will all be flying off our, going to a cliff and jumping off it to see whether we can fly. The man who claims to believe that he can fly is in jail today. So you have the power of your intelligence to change your mindset. As I said, the clearest sign of intellectual chemistry isn't agreeing with somebody. It is enjoying the disagreement with them. There are some things we don't agree on, but when we hear ourselves out, you will see the sense in what I'm saying. I will see the sense in your earlier rebuttal, because you want to run a clean program that doesn't seem as if somebody is using your platform to abuse other people. That's not what we're doing. I'm only trying to make us understand ourselves better. If people are fundamentally making perpetual mistakes, understand where they are coming from and see how you can help cure their trajectory. That's why we're here. The education is like a light. It's not like you fetching water. It's like lighting a candle. And light and darkness don't stay in the same place. The darkness can't comprehend light. When enlightenment comes, it opens doors. The kind of conversation we're having now, if we're talking about Wike and Atiku and their quarrel and all, you see a lot of people here adding their comments because it is at their level, it is in the mud. But we're talking about moving the nation forward. We're talking about the pathology of how we got to where we are. It is not for ordinary people. It's for leaders who can think critically. Not somebody looking for banter to go and tweet or something to misconstrue. Which is why I will not give anybody an opportunity to damage my point of view by giving them an opportunity to see me from the perspective of he's an APC man, he's an PDP man, he's a Muslim, he's a Christian, he's in the north, he's in the south. Once all those sentiments are out, you will only see what I'm putting to the table, which is nation building. Excuse me. So,
yeah,
my concern is nation building, nothing more. So they say harmony is the pleasing arrangement of different tones, voices, or instruments, not the combination of identical sound. If you have listened to an orchestra before, they are not playing identical sound. So for you to think that your group, you are thinking of ethnic, can decide Southeast alone determine who is president of Nigeria.
It's not
they
possible.
Can't. Can Southwest determine who is going to be president alone? Can South do it? So there must be harmony. And that harmonious engagement cannot be the same thing. It will come in different shades and different forms. We are all unique. That's why somebody who speaks to unity in diversity is speaking the language of the future of Nigeria. We must unite our forces. You need alliances. You, the Southeast, cannot isolate themselves and say, this is about us. We are suffering. When it rains, it beats all of us.
That's true.
Nobody buys fuel at different prices. Somebody is enjoying. In fact, some of us are even making more sacrifices. In our suffering, we are still seeing room to help other people. That's sacrifice. And that's what we're asking other people to do. You understand? When you have creative tension, it makes beautiful music. If everything is working for Nigeria, nobody is going to work hard. We're going to be collecting our share of national cake and we're going to be lazy. And nobody will remember us in the coming generation. We will eat all our resources and everybody will die off. But our hardship is
let me ask what you see. Let me ask what you see changing after 2023 election. What do you see changing? You know, every election always brings about its own. Okay, great.
It depends on the outcome of the election on the one hand. Now, right now, we know INEC is not the problem per se now. It is the people that is the problem. The people see their vote as a means of transaction. They see the electoral process as a transactional process where they exchange their votes for money. If people know that the implication of their individual behavior in the collective harm us as a people, then they will know the impact of their role in the process. We've seen it in Ekiti. We've seen it in Osun, where elections were based and majorly transactional. Ekiti is a state that have been producing the highest number of professors in this country. 300 and something thousand people went into an election, and 90% of their elections were bought. What does that tell you? There are stupid people even within the educated. So it's not limited to illiterate or poor or what have you. It is abundant in every sector, in every category of people. And like I said, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying the description of that. You know how bad
I understand
things
you
have been.
now. Yes.
So the description of that shows the action itself is not a wise decision. And the opposite of wisdom is stupidity. You have not chosen to be wise. So if an educational hub of a nation is acting that way, what do you expect from the hub of people who are
especially the less privileged, or educationally challenged?
And mind you, the Greeks themselves, they didn't design democracy for the illiterates. Democracy was designed for educated property owners, people who know what is at stake, not just anybody who want to exchange their vote for onions and for Maggi. So that's the problem. So that's the problem.
It's unfortunate.
We need speak the truth to the people, regardless of the sentiments out there. Let them call you names. Let record history, remember and records it that you spoke the truth. I don't need to be for anybody or for against anybody. I will say whatever it is I need to say. But the issue we have now is not about the tribe of whosoever that is coming, the religion of whosoever that is coming, the political party of whosoever that is coming, or whether the person can win or not. What matters is this the person that mirrors the aspiration of citizens of this country, starting with you? If the answer is yes, follow your heart. You can imagine if you are voting based on substance, a lot of people, and you are making it known that this is why I'm voting the way I'm voting, this, and you are not even saying who you are voting for. This is what I'm looking at as a criteria. If everybody makes a strategic and objective decision in their voting process, you will see the outcome. It will be different from an outcome based on stupidity, sentiment, rubbish, vain talks, I don't know. There are so many examples I can give.
I understand
that some
you.
people,
I understand. I quite
that's why
understand you.
That's where I stand. We cannot continue this elect and regret cycle. This turn by turn policy of ethnic extraction. It won't get us to where we're going.
Absolutely, I agree with you. So let's come to a few personal questions. A lot of people are actually interested in you. I'm just not putting the comments on the screen, but there are a lot of comments. Some are up direct at you. Some are saying, "Why did you?" Well, I mean, that was previously. Somebody was asking. I saw another person repeating in another way. Why did you walk away from NSAS? And another one came in another way and said, why did you deny the panel? Why did you deny other NSAS protesters? You denied some people. I don't know what I mean by that, but yeah, like you.
What is out there, and again, nobody. What happened during the NSAS period was I needed to save lives. That's what I've been doing. I've been protecting citizens right from the start. We started the very first protest, which wasn't even a protest. It was more or less like a rally where we called CNN, BBC, and the rest to say, we are having this rally to create an awareness. We will never come out again to do this. We will be strategizing, engaging the authorities to bring about a policy that will bring about sustainable change in the security sector. And we did that. We kept the promise years later on our own money, on our own responsibility, without causing the death of anybody. That is responsibility. When I saw that the youth are taking things too far, after I've supported them for many, many days of their outing, and thugs and criminals are now started robbing and raping people, robbing shops and all. Government will be government to everybody now, not just to protesters. There are people who don't care about the protest, who just want to go about their livelihood. They have blocked all those people off. They can't go about their business. They can't go to hospitals and all. They are being robbed. They are being killed. So do we fold our arms and let the country go into chaos? Will that solve the problem? So somebody has to think. I know a lot of people were enjoying themselves, but that's not it. So we have to put our foot down. So that's that.
I have to look for this particular comment. I don't know if you can see it. Was that the reason you also stood against protesters at the panel?
There was nothing like there's no such thing as standing against protesters at the panel. Did you read the report? Go and read the report of the panel and see whether we stood against anybody.
No, not the report. I think there were protesters sometime during the panel, during the panel sessions who came.
No, I don't think so. We didn't stand against anybody. There was no such record. That was from the phantom of the imagination of people. The only issue they were saying that some people who put a target on the back of some of us that we voted against locking down toll gates. And I'm looking at it as if this country, we probably must have been impacted by the tyranny of the military rule that makes us feel once power is given to people, we must abuse the power. We are looking for justice for people whose life have been lost to police brutality. At the same time, investigating an incident on a particular day at the toll gate. The toll gate itself is not the subject of our investigation. It is the incident there. If there's an armed robbery case on your street, will you feel a sense of justice if we lock down all the houses on that street forever because it happened on the street? Meanwhile, the residents of the street are coming to offer us information that will help our investigation. So that's not so you cannot clamp down on them as what? What is the basis of that? Because there are insinuations that they probably must be complicit that is not proven on the evidence before the panel. It's like a courtroom now. You have to bring evidence. There's no evidence indicting these people. Of course, there was some unethical conduct that could have made things clearer that I admonished them for. It's all in the report. So there was nothing against. You see, the people don't know what they want, and they always want to believe everybody is
You said it
trying and doing trial. They said that my joining the panel is siding with the government. How do you get justice if you don't have representation there? Not just any representation, somebody who jumped on the protest, on the bandwagon some few weeks. NSAS did not start in 2017, in 2019, in 2020. It started in 2017.
I remember quite remember.
It wasn't created by protesters. It was created by sensible people who designed the advocacy. So it wasn't about the protest.
I remember that. I remember I even deliberately made dreaded air. I made my own air dreaded. I made dread because I wanted to be arrested along Ikorodu Road. And I also remember you came to Ojota when we had a protest there at.
I was in Ojota. I was in Olusosun, where you entered my vehicle that I took you out when DSS were arresting people.
I remember so well. People don't know that it started long before that period. Yeah. So that's exactly what we're saying.
Ourselves to education. Everything is not what you see on social media. Social media will not give you the true situation of everything. And like I said, I'm not a politician. I don't need you to approve of me. I'm not looking for your validation. I'm not looking for money.
Somebody is trying to bring something up here. Segun, not me saying is called to tell you if you missed it. This man stood by Lagos state government at the panel. Was there any point during the panel sessions that you and Ogunlano had disagreement? I'm aware that he led protesters or NSAS protesters to the panel. In fact, it was a council at the point.
No, Barrister Ogunlano is a man I respect a lot, and he's a man of wisdom. We are following each other on Facebook, and I don't think we have ever had any altercation. In fact, recently, when he had an issue, was willing to, put resources out there and to put all the things on ground to ensure that he gets whatever it is that he wants in the name of justice. He knows me for that. I stand for justice. I always stand for justice, and I will forever stand for justice. So if Barrister Ogunlano has an issue with me, he knows the channel to go through. Don't inherit anybody's enemy. Don't carry anybody's case on your head. Barrister Ogunlano and I have wonderful rapport forever. He's a man of respect. He's a wonderful and wise lawyer and wise counsel. He will not lead anybody astray. If he believes strongly in something and is protesting and you engage him, he will tell you the truth of the matter and he will admit if he has overlooked certain things. That's the kind of man that I know him for. So there's nothing like against or for. You see, these young people of nowadays, when people disagree with you, stop equating it to hatred. Stop doing this we against them at all. They are using it to brainwash you. I may disagree with you on certain things, but I will defend to the death your right to stand and express yourself. But you don't want to express themselves. You don't have the full picture of things. You have your own mindset of what you think based on half information that you have gotten, and you want it to be true. That is not how you lead in a society. Always learn, get the full picture. Ask intelligent questions and think critically for yourself. What do you ask somebody against somebody? Am I not a citizen? Am I part of government? Am I looking for appointments? Am I in?
Well,
let's move on.
but if they offer you appointment in future, SEGALINK, would you not take it? Would you not accept it?
I'm a busy man. I have things that I'm doing. I'm a very, very busy man, and I may not be able to have time to engage in anything. See, everywhere I walk, I always walk on my own terms. Go and ask anybody. I have served in several tribunals. It's not just Lagos. I've served in a number of different places as a member of the tribunal on this police brutality thing. Even in some states where the governor that some people are praising today refused to come issues on police brutality in his states. So we'll go into that. That will be when the campaign starts. Nobody is going to be spared. Every candidate will be scrutinized, unless we are not running for the presidency. Some of us can be coward. You can't be coward. The fact that you know that this is a man that even the tyrannical government cannot hold down. Is it you, a small group of people, campaigning for somebody that will hold you down? So don't worry, we have not even started. This is our nation. Our country.
I know.
Nobody is more Nigerian than any Nigerian. I will show you people. Right? Every candidate will be scrutinized to the letter. You will hear you will see. Nobody will miss out of the debate. They must come. If not, we'll begin to campaign against them from that momentum and galvanize people against them. So there's no big deal. That's why I don't want to be on anybody's side. So they won't say it's about his candidate. No, I don't have any candidates. I am for Nigeria as my candidate. The goodness of this nation, the progress of this nation is my priority. And that's what I'm standing for. That's why I don't want to soil my hands with any campaign or any whatever. So that when I want to fight, I will fight squarely. For example, now, if I see that there is a concerted effort to stifle a particular candidate, I will fight for you with everything that I have. Whether it's an Obio, whether it's a Showore, whether it's a Prince Adebayo, or Adewale Adebayo, anybody, I will fight for you. And nobody will be able to say it's because it's his friend or it's because it's
you didn't mention
Ashwaju
and Atiku.
Those ones are big boys now. They can they are the owners of the game.
You don't need to even mention that.
Okay. They are owners of the game. You
know? Okay, now thanks so much. And this is a conversation that will not end now because we are still following the events are still unfolding. February 2023 is still some months ahead, so we'll definitely still. It will be in series, and I'm sure that even in your tight schedule, if I call you again to say, "Why not come? Let's have another conversation." I'm sure you still agree to come. You still accept to come. Yeah. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much, distinguished Segun. I was on your SEGALINK, and I appreciate everybody who has been civil in commenting or participating in this conversation so far. We want to say this is a wrap for tonight. We'll definitely come back another time to continue the conversation as events unfold. Thank you so much, everybody. I want to say that is it for now. I appreciate you. Bye for now, everybody.
Please, Abiodun Akinyemi, a man who is looking to solve the big chunk of the housing crisis that we have in Nigeria by making affordable, self-sufficient. This kind of homes are becoming more and more popular, by the way, because they're efficient and they're environmentally, and then it costs less to make them if you think about it in the long run. Anyway, before I tell you about the smart homes that he's building, let me tell you a little bit about his story. He's based in Canada right now. He decided to build a house in Lagos, Nigeria, but upon making inquiries, the cost of building a house has increased significantly since he moved to Canada. So instead of using concrete brick throughout his construction, he substituted it with laterite, and he was able to save 30% of the construction cost. Laterite has a lot of advantages, by the way, including warming your home during the cold weather, cooling your home in season. It's cheaper because it's readily available. It's everywhere in Nigeria. It has high clay content, which means it can hold more water. Laterite gives you better air quality. So if you build your house with laterite, you can breathe in better air quality. You can even recycle it. So if you build a house with laterite and you don't like it, you can break down the house and use the brick to build another house. And that's just to name a few of the advantages. But he didn't stop at building his personal house. He decided to make his house self-sufficient, off-grid, which means that he's not going to depend on the electricity from the Nigerian government. So he's using solar power, and he's also not going to be using power generator, so there will be no noise, no air pollution. At the same time, he's not using the regular sockaway that everybody uses in Nigeria. He's disposing his own waste material by decomposing it, and he's generating his own water. So once the house is completed, he doesn't need anything from the... And this is why they call this home self-sufficient, off-grid homes. That alone inspires me. The fact that he was able to find an alternative to just spending so much money on building a house, and the fact that he doesn't have to depend on the government, he made himself a self-sufficient house. That is the inspiration for me. But then he took it a step further. So after learning from his own experience, he wants to do the same for others, except that he wants to do it better. If you see the picture of the house, you may not be too impressed by the aesthetic, but he calls this the experimental house because what he has decided to do is to now mass produce this kind of house for other people. In case anybody out there is interested in having to be self-sufficient, he has bought acres of land in Lakwe beachfront in order to construct an off-grid estate. And what you guys are seeing is what he would be constructing. All houses would not be using NEPA, and they will be constructed with laterite bricks. If anyone is interested, he's looking for 10 people, just 10 people to start out. The price is 34 million naira for 3 bedrooms, and you can pay in installment. He has a contract readily available, readily prepared, which you can share with your lawyer to know if that's a good deal or not. I mean, some people may feel like that's a lot of money, but it's a one-time payment that you no longer have to worry about electricity bill. You no longer have to worry about paying them to empty your sock away and stuff like that. It's a one-time payment that you know that from beginning to end, you know your house is complete and self-sufficient. Anyway, I asked him, by the way, I said, what if someone is interested right now and they decided to pay you, and along the way they decided they're no longer interested, they don't like what they are seeing? And he said to me that your money is refundable, as stated in the contract. He said he will give you back 35% of the money, and the remaining 5% is for administrative charges. He's using a system of interlocking bricks instead of the traditional style of construction. And this system results in a house that is 10 times stronger than traditionally built house, and also more terminally efficient. Each home would have its own fire system and will be conveniently located by a fire hydrant in order to make it easier for fire crews to help just in case of an emergency. We'll be building common areas that will have a gym, a playground, swimming pool, ball courts, grocery stores, and so on and so forth. And more importantly, the houses in his estate will reduce global warming and human carbon footprint. So guys, if you're interested, please check him out. This is his website.